Today we're going to crank the horsepower on the Yamaha MT-10 up to 170 horses. These aren't concrete figures, but I'm just giving you an example of what the power commander and adjusting the fuel will do. Alright, so without any further ado, let's start taking this bike apart. These things here are push pins, so you just need to push on the center of them. I'll tell you what, it's hard to film tutorials because I'm trying to get you guys the shot and trying to keep my hands out of the way. But anyway, you can see there, that little pin's been pushed in. We should be able to just, there it is. So the way these work, I'll just show you real quick because it took me ages to learn this. So when they're when they're reset, they're like this. So you'll push the push pin into the hole, and then you'll push this little button here, and that will set it in the fairing and lock it in place. Now it took me ages to work out how to do this. I was always trying to pull that little thing out, but what you actually need to do is push it in. Right, and that unlocks the push pin, and then you'll be able to pull it out. Little pro tip. So there's 2 of those. Let's get that done. Okay, so we've got 2 little Allen keys here. Just make a quick note, guys, these weren't on very tight at all, so obviously you don't want to over torque these when you put them back on, because I feel like they'll crack the plastic fairing. These were on like almost, they were on a little bit tighter than finger tight. They weren't on tight at all. Apparently we can run our fingers along the fairing and pop out a clip that's here. I feel like I'm missing something. I may need to undo these little clips just here. So this is, I need to take the seat off as well. All right, what am I doing? Okay, so the seat's off. Undo the little screw down here at the bottom of the tank, and you can see this is definitely on its way to coming off. I think I need to undo these little push pins just in here. I think that's it. Just let that sit like that. Just FYI guys, these vents on the MT-10, they're fake. They don't go, look at that, they don't actually go anywhere. This is the airbox. Unless you cut a hole in the side of that. It's a bit of a bummer, isn't it? All of the air, the ram air comes through the front here and goes through the frame and into the airbox, which is just down there. It's a little FYI. All right guys, I'm gonna stop the camera here. I'm just gonna take the tank off and we'll come back to you. Okay guys, so I'm halfway through taking the airbox off, and I just realized I just took off the, check this out, right? That's where the air filter goes. Just took off the air filter, and look at that. There's so much restriction in this airbox. It's only using this part of the filter. So what we're gonna do, I mean, this is factory, but I don't really like this. I might jump online. There's definitely gonna be a bunch of guys out there that have done a modification to the airbox for the MT-10, so I'll find out what it is, and we'll do that. I think it will probably entail cutting this out, just to allow more airflow, but we'll check online before we start cutting into anything. Just wanted to show you guys the restriction from factory. That's incredible. It's only using not even 50% of the air filter. Unbelievable. All right, so I just jumped online. The airbox mod is as simple as pulling out this rubber hose, which goes down into the airbox. Come on. And then some guys actually file this out as well. There's a little bit of, probably file a little bit there. I'm not gonna do it at the moment. I am waiting for an air filter to arrive. I was gonna get a K&N just like I've got on the R1. This is the standard air filter, but I've been told to get the Sprint P08 Race instead of the K&N. Apparently it's a better filter. I've been told by a couple of guys, even someone that runs a mechanic workshop and does dyno runs on the reg. So Sprint P08 is on order, ready to go. And then, yeah, should be able to just pull this out. It's going to take a bit of convincing, I think. This is why I said to you guys I'd come back after I had the tank and the airbox off. I'm having some problems. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 screws. They're all undone. This one here on the top is undone. This tube here is undone, and there's another tube behind here for the AIS that I can undo as soon as I pull the airbox off. I've done this so many times on the R1, and it should just pop up, but it's not working. So I've just sent a quick message to my buddy. I've taken 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts. They're all loose, all of these. That one up there is done. This tube is off. I know there's another tube underneath here for the AIS, but I can't fucking get the cunt to come up. We're just waiting for a reply, and then I'll get back to you. Hold that thought. I got some light going and I can see down in here. I did take those 4 bolts off there. There's 2, one in there and one in there, which I've just undone. So hopefully, there we go. So finally, airbox is off. You can see the throttle bodies here. I need to make sure nothing falls into those while I'm working on the injectors. So we've got the injectors 1, 2, 3, 4, and we've got the plugs for each injector. 1, there we go. That's a better view. So injector 4, 3, injector 2 and injector 1. All right, I'm going to start hooking all of this up. I'll cut out all the boring stuff and come back to you. Right, I've just moved the bike and set up the lights because it's getting a little bit dark. We're just about to access the ECU right now. I want to quickly talk to you about why I chose the Power Commander over an ECU flash. ECU flashes are a relatively new thing. And ECU flashes basically came about by reverse engineering the ECU from the manufacturer. So the manufacturers haven't released software to allow people to be able to rewrite their programs and their fuel maps within the ECU. It's a little bit of a sort of like a black market, I guess. It's definitely pretty popular. I mean, most people that you talk to, if you were to say, should I get an ECU flash or should I get a Power Commander? They would say an ECU flash because the results are proven. I mean, it does work. ECU flashes are pretty expensive. Some can be expensive, some can be cheap. I mean, you can get a mail-in flash where you'll actually take the ECU out of your bike and post it in, and there's the ECU right there. They'll do that for you for a fee, and it can be as little as $200, or you can get a proper, brand name ECU flash and a dyno tune from like, let's say Woolwich Racing, which is a company here in Australia. Woolwich Racing, they'll do an ECU flash for about $800 or $900, but the Power Commanders, they're tried and tested. I mean, people have been using them for years very successfully. The amount of modifications that I want to do on the bike are minimal. I just want to do fuel mapping. With the ECU flash, you've got a whole lot more options. For example, you can adjust the temperature that the thermo fan comes on if you don't want your bike to run too hot in traffic. You can turn the AIS system off, the air recirculation injection system into the exhaust. You can turn that off so that you get less popping and crackling from the exhaust. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that you can do with an ECU flash that you can't do with a Power Commander, but there's a lot of risk involved as well, especially with some of these mail-away ECU flash companies. I mean, if they brick your ECU, which is a possibility, it has happened in the past, then you're screwed. You're out $1,000, $1,500 to get a new ECU for your motorcycle. So you also, from what I understand, void your warranty if you flash your ECU, whereas with the Power Commander, if you want to sell the bike or if you want to take it in for a warranty job at Yamaha, all you have to do is uninstall the Power Commander and you're good to go. So there are benefits to having either one. You really have to make a choice for yourself. Like I said, this isn't a race bike. I just want to adjust the fuel to take into account the decat and the exhaust and get this bike running, optimally again. I don't really care about all the little bells and whistles and all the extra bits and pieces that you can get done with an ECU flash. So we are going to give this a try first, and then if this doesn't work out or if I'm not happy with the tune, then either we can get the bike dynoed with the Power Commander in here, or I can just go an ECU flash to start with, or maybe even a full Woolwich dyno tune and ECU remap. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to jump on the DynoJet website and find out where these plugs are that need to plug into the rest of the harness, especially this one. I have no idea of where this is. Apparently it's behind a boot near the ECU, so it's down here somewhere, but everything looks black. Just remove the ECU. I just remembered there's some other benefits as well to having the Power Commander. You can just literally plug this into your laptop and you can make adjustments to your fuel map on the fly, whereas coming across ECU flashing like technology, I mean, really, like, it's not readily available. It's a lot easier to adjust this sort of stuff for the average at-home person. So like, and also with the Power Commander as well, you can have two maps on there with a little switch. So because I use this as a commuter motorcycle, maybe sometimes I just want to ride the bike, without all of that extra power and save some fuel. And then, when I want to go for a ride in twisties or maybe take it on the track, I can flick the map over to something a little bit more aggressive. I think the Power Commander is a little bit more flexible compared to the ECU flash. But anyway, my 2 cents, make up your own mind. It is a bit of a pain to install. I just got all of these plugged in. I'm just reading the instructions and trying to work out exactly which wire I need to plug it into. So unfortunately, no one's done this online. So when I find out where it is, I'll let you guys know. Okay guys, this part of the video is specifically for anyone that has an MT10 that's specifically installing a Power Commander. This is going to make it so much easier for you guys. So I've found all of the pins. So we've got this here that needs to connect to the ECU. It's pretty interesting how this works. Basically, it pierces the wire and then you screw it on and it sort of like taps in. That piggybacks into so this is the ECU harness. I've just unplugged them. So it's the small harness and you want to find pin 11. Now the easiest way to find that It's a white wire. There's 2 white wires. So there's a white wire right there, which is pin 10, and the one right next to it, which is the other white wire, is pin 11. So easy to find that. So this here is going to plug into that wire, and then you've got this here is going to power the device. But hold on, before we do that. So this ground wire here is going to connect to this ground lug just here. Then we've got this here that connects to the quick shifter. So that is going to be this plug right there. I don't know if you can see that. There it is. I've already unplugged it. And then we've got these 2 wires here. These are going to go, so if you follow the ECU wire back, just below it, there is a rubber boot, which is this thing here. If you pull it up, it will expose that little plug right there. And that's where that plugs into. And then that's it. Assemble the bike and you're good to go. All right, guys, we are far out. This took a while. We're fully done. This is it. We've installed the power commander on the Yamaha MT10 2018 model. It should be pumping out 170 horsepower now with the modification and with the exhaust and the link pipe. So now, moment of truth, we just need to start the bike up in tomorrow's episode. See you then.